go right in here and let you guys see it. We call it List Animal, and here's what it looks like. And it's an email marketing platform, okay, just like Aweber, GetResponse, you know, all the others. Short version is you build your email list in here, you use this to connect with them, okay? However, remember, everybody else has some similarities, and what they all offer are place for you to house your contacts, ways to send emails to them in two different ways, broadcast and autoresponders, okay? Our system is actually built totally different than that. It was built in a much, you know, I don't know the right word, but very, very different way of looking at things, all from scratch. And then we decided to add in what everybody else does, just so you wouldn't need the account with them. Okay. So the normal way to build it with opt-in forms and have people in your list and know only their name and email, or just their email, and send email messages out. Yeah, we added that a month ago for free. Okay. Everything else is cutting edge. Okay. Everything. Those of you that are local marketers, I'm about to change your world. Okay. If you're in a bigger town where you actually have some competition, they're history. Okay. In a moment, I'm going to show you how to make them redundant. Okay. It'll be very easy for you to sell every local business that you walk into, just simply because you have this up your sleeve. Okay. Those of you that are online marketers, you better catch up quick. Okay. Because the short version is, when we take this public, everybody will be using it soon. Remember, I have one of the biggest joint venture lists in our industry. So I don't have to pay for advertising. I send an email out to JV partners, and then they all promote it. Okay. The reason that we already know is because without marketing material, we opened it up to our internal list 2 months ago to get our first round of beta testers. We realized that we weren't going to do what we did with other products, which is just launch it to the world, have this $1 million launch, and then turn it off. Okay, this was going to be something that was long-term, something we put everything into and continue to support and make stable. That's the job. We've signed up for it. Okay, but that's very different than a normal product launch in our world. This is more like Aweber, GetResponse, those kinds of guys. Okay, so we opened it up to our internal list. We had no marketing material whatsoever. We sent it to a page that has a login form, and that's it. And it worked so well that we had to turn it off real quick. We were like, whoa, what just happened? Okay, we knew we had something good. I mean, we've been working with it for a long time, quietly, put tons of hours into it. We had no idea just how marketable it is. Okay, so we closed it down, and we worked with those beta testers for a while. It was a couple hundred people, and then we started to build the system up a little bit more, implemented some of the cooler things we had been thinking about, got the bugs worked out, got it working just well. Because, you know, if you don't have good email deliverability, you don't have good email service. That's all there is. Okay, our deliverability is nuts. Okay, as far as deliverability, I could talk about this subject for hours, but I don't want to hold you guys up. The short version is our deliverability is as good or better than anyone else on earth. And there's reasons for that, solid reasons for that, and we can talk about them another time. I'll show them to you in a minute. I'll send a crazy email out, and you guys can be wowed by it. But the short version is it's not an accident. It was very meticulously set up, and it took a lot of experience. Myself and our programmer. Programmer has as much experience in doing what he does as I do in ours. Okay, so good deliverability and crazy tools. Now let me show you these crazy tools. Now remember what I told you about connecting with people. We only know their email address and their name, right? Right. Well, watch this. Let's go over to this test list, and let's say it's this one. It only has me in here. As you can see, this is the contact information instead of the name and the email. And by the way, instead of the name and email, the way I decided to type it into my form, it's important to say that because there's a high percentage of people that type in incorrect information on purpose, okay, just to get the freebie. They don't want you to email them again. Okay. There's also a percentage that actually make a mistake and do a typo and accidentally make it so that you can't ever email them again. Okay, we don't have that problem. I'll explain it all in a minute. But look, Facebook, name, true email address, Facebook verified, Facebook friends, when I was added, and more. My photo, my age, my gender, and where I live. Okay, this is how you can connect with people. Okay, this information changes the entire game. Okay, now let me show you something. First of all, this is one of my Facebook accounts, and as you can see, I really don't tell people too much about. I mean, I tell them a little bit, and then I'll make some posts, and I put pictures of the family and stuff like that. But there's also spaces in Facebook where you can explain everything about yourself. And if you happen to be one of them, then it looks like this. Okay, all the information about them: movies, games, music, TV, location, everything. Okay, this is a whole different world when it comes to connecting with people than a name and an email address that they've decided to tell you about. Okay, number one. Now, if you do that and let's say bring that information into a contact list, it's a neat toy unless you're actually using it for something, right? Okay, well, that's where we spent all of our time. Bringing in that information, not a big deal. Okay, that was like step one for us. Step 2 through 52, okay, was about how to use the information in a powerful way. Okay, check this out. If you have all of that information, doesn't it make sense that when you send out an email, you would like to be able to use that information? Okay, well, that's what you do. Put it, let's say you want to send out a new broadcast, you name it for yourself, you put the subject line in, you put the message in. Well, when you're with one of the other services, Aweber, GetResponse, all of them, okay, they have what we call short codes or tokens. Okay, a way for you to say something like, okay, and what that would do theoretically is put that person's name into the email so it looks like you're connecting with them, right? Right. Okay. Well, when you have this much information, it gets a little bit more intense. Okay, let's do something like, and I don't know, maybe put their photo in there or where they live or what their gender is or their age. It's a whole different way of connecting, right? Right. Okay. Well, there's some really cool stuff in here that I want to show you, and that was probably the smallest. Okay, that was probably the none. No, there's some questions in here that I need to answer really quick. In general, I'm not paying attention to the question box. Okay, so at this point while I'm giving this information, but there were a couple in here that alarmed me, and I do need to tell you real quick. Do they need to have a Facebook account to be logged in? No, I'm going to explain that in a minute. Yes, Facebook does rock for offliners. I see that, Tina. Does this violate privacy rules? Not at all. I'll show you exactly where they approved it, or it was public information. Okay, trust me, 2 years we've been working on this. Create an HTML email template. Yes, it is. Errol says, is there a way to go in and create an HTML template for an email? Yes, there is. Mobile number? No, it does not. And the reason it doesn't is because the majority of Facebook accounts do not have mobile numbers. Same with Google, which, by the way, I'm going to show you how to connect with Google in a minute, Google Plus and Gmail. Okay, and it's not in there. Now, we do have some stuff up our sleeve, but that's not live yet. And I don't want to tell you all that stuff because as we add them, we add crazy things in. And we've got a plan, okay? Just like we had this plan, we have a plan, okay? Is there a way to import information from Aweber and other lists where it will show up like you are showing now? Yes, there is, Greg, and I will show you in a couple minutes. So now let me close the question box for a moment and get back to this. There's some really neat things in here that are really solid, really cool, really, phenomenal type stuff, okay? However, what I've shown you so far is the smallest. Okay, number one was we're able to send out and actually add this crazy amount of connecting information into this email. Okay, here's where it gets more intense. Check this out. And by the way, that's a crazy spam email, right? I tell you what, let me get back in the question box real quick before I do this. Anybody in here think that they could send this email out from their service and get it inboxed at, say, Comcast, Gmail, AOL, or AOL? Anybody? Come on. That's right. No. Get real. Nope. No way. No. No. Well, and right, you shouldn't. Exactly. If you can, you shouldn't. Good job, Val. There's no chance I would ever send anything like this out, other than to test it. Well, there are multiple reasons why this won't go through for those of you that are brand new. We have spam filters at each email service, and there's thousands of them. So let's talk, there's AOL, there's Gmail, there's Comcast, there's, everybody. Okay, everybody has their own filters that are trying to stop emails like this from getting to you if you're a user. Well, I think I've hit just about everyone in this test. Using the word spam and at all is a problem. How about 3 times or 4 times in the subject line? Big problem. That right there is probably the killer. Down in here, these are all normal flags that all the services will not allow through. Casino, cash, triple X, porn, Nigeria, gambling, Viagra, make money online, free cash. Oh, here's the big ones. Multiple exclamation points or multiple dollar signs. Those are the ones that won't get you through anywhere. Okay, so while I'm showing you this really cool thing I'm about to show you in a minute, I'll also send this and we'll see how it goes. Okay, all right, so here's a test, and I'm going to click send now. Watch. The page it's going to send me to is one that doesn't exist prior to us creating this. It's nowhere, 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 nowhere. It's nobody has this. Okay, the reason they don't is because they've never been in this position to have this type of demographic information about people to use to connect with people. This is one we had to create from scratch with a paper and pen. Okay, it's called a filters page. All right, this is where we decide who's getting this email. And remember, we know a lot about them. Okay, so we can send to, of course, whichever list we want, types of list. You ready for this? Facebook only, Google only, or standard opt-ins. Okay, rather than everybody else. Okay, and when to send it, we could schedule it, of course. As you can see here, we just pick when we want to send it out, or where they live, or their age group. Yes, sir. Or their gender. Okay, so we can truly connect with our list, and that's the point, and that's something that nobody has ever really been able to do prior to now. Okay, we've never been able to truly connect with our lists. Right, watch this. I'm going to send this out to one of my test lists. By the way, it's an entirely test account for me. I'm going to narrow it down to just me on the list, which will do it right there at United States of America. These are all test accounts of mine, and I'll click send. Okay, so while I'm talking to you, I've already shown you two solid features of having this much information. Okay, number one, and sorry about the Nigeria reference, guys. You know, I didn't make up the spam filters. This is one of them that does. Okay, you know, I've shown you that you create broadcasts and you can actually put people's personal information in there. Okay, that's something that nobody has ever been able to do before. Okay, next is that we have a filters page where you actually, when you're sending broadcasts out, you get to decide who gets to see these. I mean, you know, when you're experienced, and especially for you guys that are offline, pay close attention to this. Okay, what becomes very obvious after you've been doing this for a few years is that segmenting the list is not what you may think it is. Okay, most people think it's so that when I send an offer out, and let's say it's only appealing to women, okay, and I only send it to women, it's going to do better, right? Well, that's not the big part. Okay, the big part is you're not going to piss off the men. Okay, that's the key, right? So when you're doing local consulting, let's say you're working with a close pizza shop or you know, maybe a furniture store or a car dealership, and they have people come in and you show them how to capture information, which, by the way, I'm going to show you some really cool features for that in a minute. And they're doing well, and they're listening to you, and they're building this email list. Well, with this email list, let's say that they want to do something that's extremely time sensitive, like some kind of a special today. For some reason, you know, business has been slow for the day, and it's noon now, and we want to spike up business before the end of the day. Let's use that email list our consultant is building. Okay, how do we do that? Okay, well, we offer something that expires at 4 or 5 today. Well, if you send it out to the entire list, you're inevitably going to piss somebody off. Somebody on that list is not that close to you, okay, and they're going to not want to be on that list because of that. That's normal, right? Not with this situation, okay, because we decide exactly who we want to send it to. So we can send it to only people that are close, all right? That's a whole different world. Of course, the people that are close are going to respond better. But if you send it to the whole email list instead of just those people, somebody's going to get upset with you, and that's not connecting with them, right? So let's see what we've got here. Whoop, there's Gmail's inbox. Any doubts? Okay, let's see if we're in Comcast yet. Usually Comcast takes a couple of minutes because we've got this really crazy way of doing it. Nope, it's right there in my inbox. And just so you can see, here's my spam folder with none in it. This is my inbox, and there it is right there. And here's AOL, and it's in my inbox. Again, there's an empty spam folder, and it's in the inbox, okay? So blah, 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 we have high deliverability. Just need to make sure you understand that. That's a prerequisite for a good email response system. Okay, oh, can you guys hear me? I saw a pineapple in here. Not too bad. All right. So you guys get the point. I know it would take forever. It would take forever for me to explain in detail why we get high deliverability. The short version is I have a guy up my sleeve that has been building me email servers for 6 years maybe. We've just been good friends in the internet marketing space. He's been around as long as I have. He has no intentions of doing what I do, which is branding myself and putting myself out there. He's just not that guy. Okay, he works with an email list. He supports his family very well, and his idea of success is to work as little as possible. Don't get me wrong. Some days I'm feeling like he's the rock star. Okay, so working an hour a day sounds really appealing to me at the moment. All right. Short version is we were in a conversation. We used to talk every day, and actually we still do. But back then he was like, dude, you've got to let me build you one of these so it's, you don't have any more deliverability problems. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Went back to talking about the rest of the stuff. We did that for maybe a week or so. And then finally he nailed me down. He was like, look, man, seriously, let me build one of these for you and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I said, yeah, go ahead and do it. Quite honestly, I was just getting him to stop talking about it. He did it. I started to mail out from it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, why didn't I listen to him before? Okay, so ever since then, I've been using him to send emails internally from my own server, which nobody has good deliverability from their own servers, and I just never gave up his name. I kept it to myself. I used it. That's it. Well, when my programmer friend and I got together and built this system, we decided to talk to him and talk him out of his peaceful life, and now he works with us, and all of the servers that we use are built by him. And so it's myself who designed most of this, our programmer who is so good that any idea that comes to my mind ends up reality very quickly, okay? And we have another programmer that does our email servers, okay? So that's why that happens, all right? So most importantly, I want to show you my favorite tool in here, okay? When you have all this cool information about people, okay, there are bunch of neat things you can do, and we created the broadcasting setup, and we realized that now we can get closer to our list. This is something we did from scratch a long time ago, okay, over a year ago. Well, I felt like an idiot one day when I woke up and it dawned on me just how intense that would be with autoresponders. Okay, autoresponders, don't forget, are how you automatically and on autopilot build a relationship with a list. Okay, you put in, let's say, 10 to 15 to 20 emails that are pre-written, pre-created, and pre-scheduled, okay, for people as they come into your list. And theoretically, you can build a relationship with people and not even be there. Okay, these emails go out on a certain time schedule, and they're tweaked over time when you start to realize that they're doing well or not doing well. Okay, and then once you're done, months from now, you have this automatic funnel that builds a relationship. Now, imagine if you could do it with this. Okay, you could use all this cool information, but more importantly, you could decide who gets them based on this information. Look at this. Everybody has which email list. Everybody has when do you want to send it. Okay, nobody has. Target by country, target by gender, target by age range. Okay, if you're not feeling the gravity of what I'm saying, then you simply haven't gotten it quick enough, and I need to, elaborate for you. Okay, check this out. Imagine autoresponder emails that are there to build a relationship based on trust and credibility, and the same email message goes out to 65-year-old men in London and goes to 22-year-old females in San Diego. Now, somebody is not going to connect with you. Okay, that's just normal. That's just where it goes, right? Well, that's all gone now. Okay, yes, you sell this to local businesses, Karen. The best way to do that, quite honestly, I hope I'm not stepping on what you guys teach because I haven't been through Ryan's stuff, is to hold on to your asset. Okay, you don't sell them this. Okay, you sell them so they're paying you monthly to administer it. All right, and then this is just up your sleeve. Okay, is this easy to integrate with lead capture systems? Yep, very. I'm going to show you in a minute. Okay. Is this easily outsourced? Yes, it is. Here's how people come into the list. Okay, let's say you want to build an email list. I tell you what, we can do this in 2 seconds. Watch this. Let's say you just signed up and this is your account. Here's what you got to do it. Okay, you ready? Mailing lists, new lists. Pick a name. Let's go with Thursday, actually November. Okay. Sender name and sender email are not required. Okay, they're if you want to show it differently when you're mailing out to people. They're not required. So let me show you this easy setup. Let's say you just started up. All you want to do is click mailing list, click news list, name it whatever you want. This is internal. Nobody ever sees this. Sender name and email is based on how you want the emails to be, to look when they're sent out. So when they're sent to you, to somebody on your list, what do you want the sender name to be? What do you want the email list, email address to be? Because it's coming from us, but that's what it'll say. All right. Now, if you don't add these, it's going to use what is already in your account from sign up. Okay, so you don't need to add them. That's only if you want something different. Redirect URL is just simply the thank you page. Okay, so let's go to Google. All right. Single and double opt-in only applies if you're using the regular forms like everybody else has. Okay, now you have that option here. Okay, but I don't personally use it. All right. So if you want to change it to double, go ahead. Okay, it doesn't matter to us. Click Save List. Now watch this. I just named this thing November. Now I go in here. Did you notice there's more stuff down here now? Okay, watch this. Instead of just a way to do a regular form, there are other ways to get people on the list. Okay, number one is Facebook. Simply send them this link. You can either put it in Facebook or send it by email, and they click it, and when they click it, the next thing they see is a small little disclaimer box from Facebook that says, hey, these people want this information. You cool with that? And you say yes, and you go to the thank you page. So we're talking click, click, thank you page. No typing. That means no area for them to make a mistake, okay, or to do it on purpose. All right. Facebook registration plugin. I'm going to show you an example in a minute. That's my favorite. Facebook pre-coded buttons. Watch this. In case you're not a graphics person, we put some in here for you. All you got to do is go to your present opt-in page or the one you're building, copy that, paste it in. That button will be there, and if they click it, they're in that list. Okay, with all their demographic information. Right. These were some of the ones that did really well. I like that one too. Log in, connect with Facebook. You must log in to perform this action. That's awesome. Okay, these all did very, very, very well. Right, and they're there for you to just use. Local marketing. You paying attention? Here's where it gets crazy. You ready? Facebook QR code. Boom. Okay. Now, as far as local marketing, and man, I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes. Okay, there are two basic things at the basic level. There are a million things actually that you can offer a local business. We all know that local businesses know nothing about marketing. They're so focused on making pizzas, they're so focused on selling furniture or selling cars or whatever that they don't know what we do. And that's why there's a big market for us. Okay, there's one that is obvious to them, okay, to most of them, that you can do, and that's get more people in the place from the internet. Okay, so putting stuff on Google or doing, they might even know the buzzwords, SEO. Okay, so you can get their page up higher rankings and get people into their store. That's great. Okay, but the other side is you can teach them how to effectively capture the information of people that come in their business now. Okay, and then build a relationship and then get them back when they want them back. Okay, on demand. That's probably, to a nerd like me with a lot of marketing experience, that's probably my favorite. Okay, but again, that's just one opinion. All right. So how do we effectively capture information? Well, the older way to do it is, and we've all seen it before, is fill out this card and win a trip, or put your business card in this fishbowl. Okay, for possible free lunch or something like that. Okay, that's one way. Another now, for those of you that are newer, is QR code. So you hit this, scan this with a smartphone, then you see if you're already logged into Facebook, which most are. Okay. Then they immediately see that button that I told you about, which is Facebook saying, hey, do you want this to happen? They click it with their finger. They're at the thank you page, right? Even though they did it on the road, even though they did it at your local store, still the same information comes in, okay? All that information. So they didn't have to fill anything out. They weren't rushed. They didn't screw anything up when they were filling it out. They didn't put phony information in just to get whatever that thing is. You got it all, and it's verified. Okay, very, very, very strong. And now your client is able to literally segment their mailings. Women's stuff for sale, send to women.
That and not only that, I hate to step over you, but this just jumped into my mind is just how This is what really got me excited about it. If you remember just a few minutes ago when he was talking about list segmentation and all the demographics that are automatically pulled in, Fortune 500 companies literally pay hundreds of millions of dollars for this kind of data each and every year. I mean, and that's per company. That's not across the board or anything. For this kind of data, just to know who's shopping at their stores, who's buying what and everything, so they know how to market. Now that's in the palm of your hand. It's in the palm of all of our hands. I mean, what we can do with this data is just absolutely limitless. So that was another thing that I wanted to point out.
Absolutely. There was a bunch of questions in here. Let me go over them real quick. I mean, we're going to have a full Q&A afterwards if you like. After I tell you guys how to get in and such, I'll be here, as long as you need me to be here, okay? But there's a couple here I want to brush over. Can you use customized QR codes? Yes, you can, Eileen. I'll show you exactly how to do that. You basically use the regular link instead of the QR code. And then when you're creating your QR code, you send them to this link, okay? And then you can make it whatever you want. All right. For those of you that don't want to do no craziness like that, you just simply do this and save the image. Okay. The reason it's big like that is so that you can do whatever you want with it and it'll be clear. Okay. What else we got in here? Please let this be affordable. How does the QR code capture the customer's info in one step? It connects them with Facebook or Google Plus or Gmail. Okay. And yes, so yes, there are options if they don't have a Facebook account. So you can put both of them there. It's up to you. And they click it and then they say, okay, and the information's brought in no different than if they did it on a web page with a button. Okay, same as with a QR code. It's even more effective as far as offline stuff because they would have to type all that stuff in on their phone rather than on their computer, which is, makes less sense. Okay, so yes, there are ways to do that, and it connects and gets all that information. More importantly, it's verified information. Okay. Be able to, will this, if not now but soon, be able to integrate with membership plugins such as Wishlist Member? Yes. Okay. Yes, I will. Google Plus local page. Yes, you can put it in there. This is sick. It is crazy potential. You're welcome. You're welcome. Someone scans at a car dealership and also links a web page for that car. Okay, here's what it's saying. John says, if somebody scans a QR code at a car dealership, can they also be linked to the web page for that car? Yes. What you would do is you would make that the web page for the car, the thank you page. Okay, so they would click it, click OK. They'd be at that car's web page, and you would have all their information. You would also know that they're on cared about that car. How strong is that? Yes. Will this replace my existing autoresponders on landing pages? Yes. Facebook? Yes. Okay. You guys want to see what it looks like? Okay, I'll tell you what. How about if we do this? I'm already in this list in Facebook, so if I click it, it's only going to send me directly to the thank you page and not show you the disclaimer page. So let's do the one on Google, which is almost exactly the same. As a matter of fact, they copied Facebook's. So let's click this. As you can see, it says list animal is requesting permission to view your basic information, view your email address, perform these operations when I'm not using the application. Okay, no thanks or allow. Now remember, we made Google the thank you page. Okay, right? Google. Okay, so which one are we in here? We're in November. So let me go over here and click November. As you can see, I'm right there. Bang. Okay, very, very simple stuff. All right. Now, I wasn't quite finished. Let me show you something over here. Okay, we have a normal opt-in area that's, normal forms like everybody else does, but make no mistake, we want it to be helpful for you that you do not have to use these buttons. Some people will say that they're not very effective. I totally disagree. I've proven that being correct, but whatever. We want to be all-encompassing and be there for everybody. So there's two things that we implemented to make the question of whether people want to click that button irrelevant. Okay, number one, my favorite is not this one. It's called the registration plugin. Watch this. You copy this and you paste this into your opt-in page instead of a button or instead of an opt-in page, and look what happens. This is a test opt-in page. This is a phony headline. This is some phony text I put in. That paste, what I pasted in, did this entire box. It came directly from Facebook. Since I was already logged in, I come to this page, and this is what I see at the bottom. All very accurate personal information about me. Okay? So if I click register, it doesn't send me to a disclaimer box. Okay? I already see what's being sent over. Watch what it says. It sends me to a box that say, you've just registered. So if I close this box or hit continue, I'm already on the list. I'd have to actually click undo to get off the list. Okay? That made it irrelevant for me. Now, that's very strong. That gets rid of the problem as far as what people, would think as far as being able to get through the button. I, again, totally disagree. But some people, have that opinion. Another thing that's very important about this one is social proof. If you don't know what social proof is, the short version is, if you're a friend of mine on Facebook and you're already in this list, then you will be listed right here with your picture next to the register button. That means when I get here and I see, some of my friends are already on here, I'm much more apt to click the register button. Okay, that's called social proof, and it does a remarkable job. Well, that's one way we've got rid of that problem. Okay, the other one is we've added the same forms everybody else has. Okay, so if you want to do a normal opt-in form, yes, you could do that. You can bring them into here. So if you want to test it, do multiple different kinds, and one of them is a normal opt-in form, you can do that. Okay, when you click Show Form Wizard, it ain't nothing special. Remember, we were just simply replacing, or entering in what everybody else does. Okay, so you put your name in, you click that, and you click this, and you get a code to place into your opt-in form. However, I made a deal with somebody a couple of days ago, and over the next week, we're going to have a professional come in and create a drag and drop version of that in here that's better than everybody else's. Oh, this is getting fun. Okay, so what we will have is, from every direction, as far as I can see, a much more cutting edge, a much more useful, much more effective tool to build an email list, build a relationship, and then monetize the list.